So many things to see, so many places to go. Freedom and fun go hand in hand when you're rolling in your RV across this great land. So buckle up now. What do you say? The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
It's time for the RV Show USA with Alan Warren, the RV guy, and America's only radio show about the RV lifestyle. If you enjoy travel, fun, and adventure, well, welcome aboard, everybody.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
All right, so I made a post on Facebook a few days ago, not knowing what to expect. It was about tires, RV tires. I wanted to get some input from our group members as well as some stories, and the response, well, I'm telling you, it was unreal. From Florida to Texas, all the way to Washington. Seems there are a ton of people who have got a tire story or two or three. We're going to have the RV industry's leading tire expert on here in just a bit, so y'all hang on. This is the RV Show USA. I'm Alan Warren, the RV guy, and glad you are with us. As folks are planning their summer vacations in their RVs, you know what? Tens of thousands of RVers are going to be looking for a place to escape the heat in a not too distant future, looking for cooler weather and the perfect place to hang out for a week or two. So one of my favorite summertime hangouts is up in New England. Yep, for RVers who have never camped or stayed in New England, there ain't nothing like it. Right, Bob Zagami?
You got that right.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You know, folks, Bob lives up in Massachusetts, and he has been an RVer for decades. He is also the president. Are you the president or are you the executive director of NERVDA?
Executive director.
Executive director. Tell everybody what NERVDA is, Mr. Zagami.
That's the New England RV Dealers Association. So it's a group of the best dealers in New England, and I'm responsible for helping them get branded and set up technical training programs and consumer seminars, and we also run the Boston RV and Camping Show every year.
Where are you right now, Bob? Sounds like a little bit noisy.
I apologize.
That's all right.
No quiet space in the Fort Lauderdale airport.
I figured you were in the airport traveling somewhere. Seems like you're always going someplace. So I know you work with RV dealers all over the country, and I have a question before we get into a whole lot of stuff, but you know, you work with so many dealers up there in New England. As I look at the big picture, more and more people, it seems like, are looking to buy through the internet instead of through a dealer. What are your thoughts about, people that are doing that? I would imagine that you believe, and I believe, in sending people to the dealer, but what are your thoughts on, because it seems like more people think, gosh, I'm going to save all that money, I'm going to buy straight from the internet. What do you think about that?
We try to discourage it as much as possible. It's not a book club at Amazon. It's not a pot and pan from Williams-Sonoma. RVs are very complicated products. They're manufactured by hand. They need a lot of tender, loving care. You have to do a lot of preventive maintenance with them. And you're going to want to have a long-standing relationship with the dealer. You want to be a close buddy of the people there so that you can get it serviced when it requires service. And if you're away from home, they'll make the connections to make sure that you get up and back running quickly enough. There are a lot of people selling off the internet that do not have brick-and-mortar stores. They deliver products to people's homes. They don't give them a proper walkthrough with them. And it turns out to be a very bad experience. And yes, you can always save money buying on the internet, but you're going to pay a lot more money downstream with the dissatisfaction, the lack of your ability to use this precious investment. And quite honestly, dealers right now are extremely busy. And they're going to take care of their own customers first. They'll get to you, but it's going to be probably an extended time. It's not unusual in the height of the season that we're coming into that you might have to wait a month or two to get your product serviced. And it's just a fact of life because the dealers themselves have sold so many RVs, they're certainly going to take care of those people that they have a close relationship with.
Absolutely.
So it's a very dangerous thing. And you just want to be able to look people in the eyes and say, look at this, I bought it here, I want it serviced here. And they're going to take care of you because they appreciate the business.
All right.
You will always, yeah.
Always go to the dealer. That's the bottom line. You may be able to save, like Bob said, a few bucks on the going inside, but coming out the other side, you're going to kick yourself probably the entire time you own that RV. You will do it once, maybe, but I wouldn't even say do it once. Let me ask you about jobs and career opportunities in the RV industry, Bob? Because to me, today, compared to 5 or 10 years ago, when people are looking for jobs and trained technicians, it seems like the sky is the limit when looking at the RV industry. At least that's the way it appears to me.
It's amazing. It truly is. The turnaround since the recession. Well, if we start in Elkhart, Indiana, where most, 85% of the RVs are made, everybody in Elkhart, whether a manufacturer or a supplier, has a help wanted sign up. The unemployment in Elkhart is about 2%.
Wow.
Take that and expand that nationwide. Every one of my dealers is looking for technicians. They're looking for back office personnel. They're looking for lot boys to move the stuff around. They're looking for people to wash and wax them. If somebody truly wants to work in the RV industry, now is probably the best time ever to approach your local dealer, a couple of local dealers, because you're going to have competitive situations of people wanting to hire really good people. And so the market is good for technicians, service managers, service writers, accounting people, finance and insurance people. You name it, they got everything.
And I would think that because these businesses, these dealers are hungry for people that want to work, there are opportunities to advance and literally make a career out of this. Instead of just, I'll work there 6 months and find something else, you can actually make a career and a really good living in the RV industry.
That's correct. If people would get into a job, and it's just like any other job, realistically, get in there, do a good job, show your enthusiasm, show your ability to learn and take orders, and make sure the customers are happy, you will progress very rapidly. Because we all know that in today's world, sometimes the work ethic isn't what we expected 10, 20, 30 years ago. So if you have that innate ability to make a customer happy, to have a smile on your face, do your job the right way, the sky's the limit. You could own a dealership someday.
I look at the dealers that I know down here in Texas, and I would imagine they're the same way in New England. If a person that really wants to work shows up, and applies for a job, and like you say, they demonstrate the work ethic, they have the heart and the ability, they can be trained to do just about anything, and it's a career, something that they could be doing, like you said, one day maybe even own the dealership. And there are very few opportunities like that left in our country, I think, but the RV industry provides those today.
Well, and another reason why that works, a lot of the RV dealerships are family-owned businesses. They've been out there 10, 20, 30 years. They have great reputations. They have loyal customers. You're not dealing with a major corporation. Now, we have a few major corporations that, own several dealerships around the country. But for the most part, in your local area, you can easily find 3 or 4 family-owned businesses. I've got one dealer up here, McDonald's RV, which was recently purchased by Pete's RV, just celebrated their 70th anniversary last year.
Wow.
Arlington RV Center in Rhode Island, they're celebrating their 70th anniversary this year. Longview RV in Windsor Locks, Connecticut, is celebrating their 60th anniversary next year. So we're talking about multi-generational family businesses that have been out there for decades.
They're good people.
Established. Right.
All right, tell us a little bit. We only have literally about 2 minutes in this segment to go. Tell us about RVing in New England. You've got a great show. You and DePietro do a great job every week, Bob.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun. The show went very well. The post-sales activity from the show was very well. The dealers are still getting a lot of business from the show. We had a bad, series of 4 nor'easters in March, and the dealers still met their numbers. So the customers were hungry for new units. We've got a promotion going this month called Making Memories in May, and part of that memory is buying yourself a new RV and getting out there camping this year and running around to all the dealers, doing individual videos with the dealers, talking about some of the new products, some of the new floor plans, some of the things that they're doing. So it's very active. April, we ran one called April is RV Month in New England. We try to put a theme out there every month and have some contests, have a lot of videos with the dealers. So there's a lot of communication with our fans up here.
You know, I watched some of your videos at NERVDA.com, and there's a common thread, at least from my viewpoint, that the people all seem to get along. Like you said, family-owned businesses. These are genuinely just down-to-earth people, and I just love watching those videos because you can feel these people really care about their customers, and that's what it's all about, is the caring and the relationships they're building.
Right. Yeah, and you can tell in the videos they're having fun. They like to see us come around because we've known them for a long time. We've bought RVs from them.
All right, listen, we got to jump for a break. Bob Zagami, thank you so much. You have a safe flight. We'll catch up with you again soon, okay?
Alan, thanks very much. Always a pleasure.
Likewise. All right, that is Bob Zagami. He is the man to know if you're into RVing in New England for sure. He's the head of NERVDA.com. We'll be right back with a whole lot of great stuff about tires. Y'all hang on. Be right back. My audio seems to be jumping a little bit on this thing. A little more than it did on the last show.
Interesting. Like what?
I don't know. It's just louder. The bump music seems to be louder.
I think the bump music is louder.
Oh, well, maybe that's why it's louder, because it sounds like it's louder.
It's probably louder.
It sounds like it. All right, everybody, we're in a commercial break. I'm Alan Warren. That was Bob Zagami, our friend. He was obviously in an airport. Bob is he's a traveling dude, I'm telling you, but he's also a very smart guy. If it wasn't for Bob Zagami, I would not have been introduced to my friends at Campanda. Campanda, you see their little banner behind me.
Okay, that's
I was going to bring your mic is still on. You know that, Brian. Yeah, it's been on. Anyway, last show too, so I was just going to tell you. You didn't have the headphones on, so you couldn't hear it, but that's okay. All right, so here's the deal. If it weren't for Bob Zagami, I would not have been able to investigate Campanda like I did. Campanda is what people are using to help pay off their RVs early. Yeah, can you resemble that? A lot of people, they get their RVs, they have a 10-year loan or maybe a longer loan, and the first few years it's not bad, but all of a sudden one day you just go, Jiminy Christmas, this thing, I got a long way to go on this thing to pay it off. Well, with Campanda, you can pay off your RV many years early by renting out your RV to people that want to pay good money to do it. All the insurance is covered, the paperwork is covered, and they collect the money, you get paid. Thousands of people are doing it. I'm going to do a little monologue later on in the show, but if you're maybe going, gosh, how can we pay this sucker off early? Check out Campanda. It's campanda.com/money. You see it back behind me, campanda.com/money. Check them out. And Mr. Zagami, thank you for that introduction, those guys. I just love them. I really do. All right, let's see. What do we got? Have you hit the share button? We need you to hit the share button right here.
Hey, Alan, what do you think of Camp Panda?
Who?
Camp Panda. I hear you like them.
Kind of, sort of. Now, your audio's real low there.
Okay, how's
that?
But
no, I'd rather it be gone. No, kidding. No, your audio was low, but there's so many knobs. If y'all saw this, I had one day you just show you the dials and things.
Well, that's because you put me in this little glass booth over here.
Oh, well, all right. All right, so, Jim, I know you're not going to rent out your coach. Not yet. But one day the honeymoon's going to be over. I mean, well.
And you'll go to camppanda.com/money.
/money. All right. You want to win this shirt? I didn't think nobody likes this shirt. It's just the only thing I
everybody
had.
loves the chili pepper shirt, though.
Yeah, I've been wearing that too much. I got to get some other threads. All right, so y'all make sure you hit the share button. Help us spread the word. We're picking up some new affiliates, but if y'all don't help us spread the word, it's kind of hard to get out there. It is. I want to say hi to we got, 1 minute to go, 40 seconds? I won't do that shout out right now. We're coming back. We're going to talk tires. We got Roger on the line yet? Yes. Goose.
Yes.
Is Roger on the line?
Yes, that's why I have his name on your screen, sir.
All right. Well, just double checking. If you think that the subject of tires is, you are going to be surprised in a really good way.
They've never had one blow out where they were going 70 miles an hour then, have they? Because there's nothing boring about that.
No. I'll wake you up real quick. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Campanda bumper coming up.
All right, this portion of the RV Show USA is brought to you by Campanda, the world's largest RV rental platform. To learn more about how to turn your RV into an income stream or to book an RV rental for your next adventure, visit campanda.com/money. campanda.com/money.
All right, so I posted on Facebook this week asking our group members for their RV tire stories, and we got a great response. Seems like every single person had their own personal tire story of a tire failure. And you know what? Every single tire failure had in common, you know what it was? Besides it going flat or the air going out of it? It was right before the fail, what it felt like. Right before the fail, every single person, they felt the same thing. You know what they felt like? They felt nothing. They didn't felt, and they didn't feel a thing until, yeah. And then they started feeling something. So I started thinking, you know what? There are countless RVers out there that they're tooling along, minding their own business, and they have no idea of how close they might be to their very own tire disaster. Am I being overly dramatic, do you think, Roger?
No, I don't think so, Alan.
All right, Roger Marble, folks, welcome to the RV Show.
Thank you.
So, folks, Roger Marble is known as the RV tire expert. If you read the RVtravel.com newsletter, you already know who Roger is. Roger, give our listeners a little bit of background, if you would, please.
Well, I'm a mechanical engineer by degree, and I was interested in cars and racing, and so when I got out of college, I went to a tire company that was involved in racing at the time. Had a great career, 40 years as a tire engineer. Pretty unusual to be at the same job or same company anyways, for 40 years, but I'm one of those few people that actually can say, honestly, I loved my job.
And I read your bio, and it says that you have performed countless tire autopsies. Tell us about that.
Well, when a tire fails or somebody says it fails, if you just look at it and say, oh, it's in 12 pieces, bad tire, you don't know why it's in 12 pieces. So my job was I would get a tire. Somebody had made some claim about it, and I would, a little bit like you see on TV, murder mysteries, I'm the guy in the lab coat that instead of a cadaver, I cut up tires using chemistry, X-ray, sometimes even electron microscope, dug in to find out why did this tire end up in the condition it's in. And, over 40 years, it was something I enjoyed doing. It was, murder mystery of the day almost. Just dig into it till I could find the answer, collect the evidence. As an engineer, I like nothing more than hard evidence. And then I would send a report to whoever had authorized and sent me the tire to find out what really happened. Sometimes they were happy with the answer. Sometimes they weren't happy. I had more than one car company started out with, what's wrong with your tire? And it ended up, oh, we did that wrong. Oh, sorry, never mind.
Gotcha. But now, not only do you have an education, a lifetime of experience around tires, but you're also an RVer, an avid RVer, and you've taken your knowledge of tires into the RV tire world. And tell us the difference between, if there is one, between RV tires and passenger tires, Roger.
Well, from an engineering standpoint, there's not an awful lot of difference between an RV tire and a light truck tire. They both carry more load than passenger tires. But the difference is the use. You put a tire on a pickup truck or your car, and basically you drive it. You drive it 10, 12, 15,000 miles a year, and after 3, 4, maybe 5 years at the most, the tire's worn out.
Right.
But for RVs, you have tires on your RV, be it trailer or motorhome. You might only put 2,000 to 3,000 miles on in a year. The rest of the time, It's sitting somewhere. And sitting is almost worse on a tire than being used.
Why?
We have chemicals built into the tire that need to be flexed and exercised to get those chemicals to move around in the rubber, and that's what helps the longevity in protecting tires. So it's the use. The other thing is trailers and RVs in general, an amazingly high percentage of them have overloaded their tires and don't really realize it.
Give me an example. I mean, they just put too much stuff in their travel trailer. They're overweight, and that's what causes it?
Yes, basically, because you really, you say, oh, well, I only put, 50 pounds of food in and 10 pounds of clothes. But a couple times that I've read where people have, really done the job of getting on a scale with every armload of stuff they go in, they discover they put 200 pounds of food and 400 pounds of clothes. And we won't go into how many shoes the wife takes. But in my seminars, I kind of talk about how many bowling balls do you take in your collection in your RV. That's kind of an inside joke, but people don't have a feel for how much load they actually put. Water and gasoline, while not identical, are 8 pounds a gallon. And if you've got a 50 or 100-gallon water tank, that's a lot of weight.
Yep.
And some RVs are made with not a lot of extra capacity. And that's the problem. People don't have a good feel for what it really weighs, and unless they get on a truck scale, they'll never get the right weight if you ask them how much they weigh.
Do you have any idea how many people, percentage-wise, that are out there in their RV, travel trailer, or motorhome have actually weighed their RV or their motorhome, or they're overweight? Any idea what percentage? There's got to be some study.
Well, the percentage that have actually weighed it, no, I don't have a feel for that. However, I have talked to a couple of the companies that do go to RV rallies and events and conventions, and they do weigh RVs, and they've been doing this for decades, and they have thousands of RV weight slips, and they say, based on presentations I've seen, over half of the RVs exceed one of the max ratings for the RV. Now, that could be exceeding the tire or exceeding the axle or exceeding the total weight on the RV, and this isn't by 5 pounds. Some are overweight by as much as 1,000 pounds on one axle.
And they have no idea. It's like they're driving a 6,000-pound bomb down the road that's getting ready to explode at any time.
That's right. The average car, you don't have, 800 pounds of water in the car. And the average car is driven around by, a 150-pound guy, or maybe a 200-pound guy, and not much else in the car. It's empty most of the time. So cars might have a 25 or 35% margin, if you will, on the tire capacity. And that's not the way it is with RVs.
All right, Roger, hang on. We got you for another couple of segments. Folks, if you're an RVer, I know that safety is important to you. I hope that you will stay with us for another segment or two. We got Roger Marble. He is the RV industry's go-to expert when it comes to tires. His tips and advice will save you from a lot of headaches and just could save your life. This is the RV Show USA. Be right back. All right, so we're talking tires, and once again, I thought that tires was going to be boring. The subject of tires, I thought, well, we'll give one segment to tires, but it is anything but boring.
Well, it is a well-rounded subject at the very least.
Okay, let me see. How do I push that button right there? All right, so we're in a commercial break. Where's everybody from? I know we got Steve watching, Jeff watching. Jeff, I love the picture of, I think that was Joker that was leaping in the air with another one of your dummies that you were throwing in the water the other day. Great bunch of pictures. 6 years for me, never had a blowout or failure. Jim, good. Congratulations, never had a blowout or failure. Have you checked your DOT numbers on the side of your tires? Seriously, have you checked them? Have you weighed your RV? I mean, you may have. You sound like you're a very conscientious person, but it was like Roger was saying, more than 50% of the people out there have not weighed their RV or travel trailer. Some of them 1,000 pounds overweight per axle.
So I was thinking,
Uh-oh.
you know, in the next 2 segments, you and Roger will probably go round and round about tires.
Okay, I have to apologize. That is why Goose is in there and not in here anymore. All right,
Look,
if you're
quick, giving
wondering,
him the runaround.
if you're wondering where the RV graphics girl is, she is at UTSA. She's at her ring ceremony tonight, and I'm real proud of her. She and her mama are over there, and I wish I could be there, but got to have your priorities straight, right? This is the night when I do the RV Show USA.
This is where the rubber meets the road right here.
Oh. He can't help himself. Okay? I'm just glad I'm not in there.
What's that smell?
That's what I'm thinking the same thing. All right, so we got Roger Marble on. We're 2 minutes till we come back. If you got any questions or comments about tires, we'd love to hear from you. I posted this on our Facebook group pages, on many of our group pages. People had all kinds of stories. I wonder how many of them were self-inflicted wounds. Don't be a smart aleck. I'm serious. You know, I'll bet you half of the blowouts are not the tire's fault. And I bet they're not. Probably way more than half. But we'll find out what Roger Marble has to say.
Yeah, but I'm sure they tried to get the runaround.
Gonna give you the runaround, give you the boot. All right. Who wants to know how fast you're supposed to drive with RV tires in your RV? Does it matter? I wonder, because I see them, zooming down the road. I see some guys doing 75 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour in a coach passing me. I'm like, I don't believe I'd be doing that. But I wonder if that's over the limit.
So you're saying they're burning rubber?
Okay, have you learned enough from him? Do you know how to kill the button? You see where the button is? You can go ahead and push it. Goose is in there training a new person. All you have to know is how to kill him, okay? Just push that button in there where the red goes to dark. All right, we're coming back. We got about 30 seconds, guys and gals. We got 2 more segments with Mr. Marble.
And possibly one more break of jokes.
I love that. George says, never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly. Jeff said, doesn't matter about the speed, RVs go and lots. Hey, I'm with you, Jose. 60, 65, that's about right.
Certainly don't want to be rubbernecking.
The RV Show USA.
All right, everybody. Alan Warren, the RV guy, and on the RV Show USA guest line is a man I met through reading the RVTravel.com newsletters, Mr. Roger Marble, the RV tire expert. Roger, you know, tires people just overlook, aren't they?
You're right about that, Alan.
Well, how fast should somebody go with their RV if they've got a travel trailer or a motorhome? I see people doing 75, 80 miles an hour, and I've talked to people who say, oh, yeah, my tire's rated. I can go over 100 if I want.
Well, no. I absolutely recommend against that. 2 numbers. If you've got a motorhome, 75 is the absolute max. And when I talk max, this is like the red line on your engine. While it's possible to exceed the red line, it certainly doesn't do anything for the life of your engine. And it's the same way with tires. Running 74, is just like running a couple hundred RPM under the red line in your engine. Don't do it. Trailers, because their tires have different load formulas, 65 miles an hour. There are ways to bump the inflation and cut the load, but you can't run as much load, and you've got to have more inflation to run 70 in a trailer. So 65 for trailers, 75 for motorhomes are the max.
So if I'm driving down doing 65, 70 miles an hour in my car, and somebody's towing a fifth wheel or a travel trailer at 80 and passing me, I probably just ought to slow down and let him go right on about his way.
That's right, because probably if you're on a long trip like I was a few years ago across country, I had a whole bunch of RVs pass me. I set my motorhome at 62, 63 because I like getting good fuel economy. And there were at least 2 or 3 of the motorhomes that passed me that I saw again later that day, and guess what they were doing on the side of the road?
Waiting for somebody to come and fix their tire, huh?
You got it. You got it.
Hey, tell us about these things called China bombs. I hear people bashing these tires that are made in China. Are they really bad tires, or is it sometimes operator error and they just blame it on the tire?
Well, it's easy to blame it on the tire, but I'll tell you, I have tested tires made in China to the same standards as the tires made here in the U.S., and they can pass. What happens is if 98% of the tires on trailers are made in China, then you would expect, even if it's just random, 98% of the failures on trailers ought to be on tires from China. So, it just doesn't make sense to say, well, that plant, the building where they built those tires, it was painted green. That's why the tires failed. It just doesn't work. There's a difference between causation and correlation.
What are some of the biggest mistakes that RVers use pertaining, that they make pertaining to their tires, Roger?
Okay. Number one is not enough air in your tire. Trailers basically should run the inflation that's molded on the sidewall of the tire, and that's the same inflation that's shown on your tire placard with trailers. That's on the driver's side, outside, front end of the trailer. Run that inflation, and that's cold, not hot. We tire engineers, we know tires warm up. It's built in there for them to warm up and still be fine. Inflate cold. That means when the tire hasn't been driven for at least 2 hours and not in the sun. So that's the number one is not enough air for the load. Number two is too much load, just period, too much load. You need to have at least a 15% margin because when you're on a scale, the scale's level. You're not going around a curve or a corner with the road sloped. You're not getting side load from the wind, and I've done some math, and that can be pretty significant shift due to side load from the wind. So that's where you ought to have at least 15% margin over the scale reading before you're getting up to the max load capability of the tire.
Okay, hang on. So if I'm buying an RV, a travel trailer, or a motorhome, I need to know how much that sucker weighs. I mean, that's a fundamental thing. And then I need to look at whatever its gross carrying capacity is. Is that right? And then always be 15% below that number?
Well, you've got to plan on all the RVs, when you go in shopping, they should have a list. The dealer should be able to give you a list. They'll have gross vehicle weight and gross actual weight. They have carrying capacity. And you'd be amazed at how small a number the carrying capacity is on some RVs. I say more than once that a lot of times RVs are just sold on the bling. They have flashing lights and mirrors. People buy it.
I think you're right, but the good news is I hope people nowadays are taking a little bit more time. They're a little bit more cautious when making that big purchase. Roger Marble, hang on. We got him for one more segment, folks, talking about RV tires, information that just could save your life. Roger is a writer for our friend Chuck Woodbury at rvtravel.com. We'll be right back with the RV Show USA. This is good stuff, I'm telling you. I did not think that I was going to be that interested in tires, but when I spoke with Roger a couple of days ago and he was throwing out some numbers and statistics, and I'm starting to think, I see these 18-wheelers, all these tires that are thrown up and down the road here in Texas. It's not just in Texas, but all over the place. We got summer weather coming up, hot weather, hot roads. People are excited to get out, and danger, and it could be right there. And what does it feel like right before an accident? It feels like nothing, honey. Not a thing. Don't get around to it. I know you're getting around to telling another story, right? All right, you're getting around to it. Getting around to telling us another story myself. I want to say, do a big shout out to my friends over at PPL Motorhomes. Yeah, PPL Motorhomes. If you've got an RV that you want to sell, If you are looking for a used RV, my friends at PPL here in Texas, they're the nation's largest RV consignment dealer. And PPL is run by my good friend RV Nana, Diana LeBlanc. She and her team are absolutely fabulous. They are, I call them people. And even if you don't buy an RV from them, I promise you're going to say, I like those folks. And if you don't buy an RV from them, you'll probably end up in their parts and accessory superstore. They are that good. They're that big. And up at Big Chief, I don't know how many washers and dryers our RVers or winter Texans have said, gosh, we need to get a commission. We're selling all this stuff for PPL. I said, why do you buy from PPL? Because it's the best and it's the cheapest. So anyway, check them out, pplmotorhomes.com. What?
I'm just glad to know that this particular topic is getting a lot of traction.
I saw you in there trying to come up with an idea. I'm going to come up with something. All right, we come back at what, 44? 44? Oh, we got 2 more minutes, guys. Brian Russell delivered a couple RVs for PPL in New Braunfels. Yeah.
Of course, when your tire does have a blowout, I guess it's time to retire that RV.
Speaking of retired. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to find out what a good starting point is for all of us with our RV tires, because I think most people don't even know where they're at. And Roger's going to talk to us about a starting point, I hope. And then I've got like a rapid-fire bunch of questions that people... Oh, how about a TPMS? Don't give me that look.
Yeah, the tire pressure monitoring system.
You're looking it up.
No, I'm not. I have that in my car.
Okay. The regular time. That's when I did.
What happened?
Oh, boy. Hang on. I got to make a... Miss Katie
By the
is...
way, Jeff Branning says he likes my comments.
We're going to put the brakes on them.
So this is the first day you've been in that room by yourself.
Yeah, I'm locked in.
So guys, what do y'all think of Roger and us talking about tires? Did you learn something? Did you find something out that you didn't know before? Let us know in the comments section. Please let us know what you thought of this segment about these great rubber wheeled things that go on our cars and trucks. Of course, if you just are tiring of it, let us know that too.
All right.
So, but we got about 15 seconds before we get to our last segment with Roger from RV Daily Report. So make sure you stick with us. More of the RV Show USA as we roll on.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today.
All right, back with Roger Marble, the RV tire expert, talking about one of the most important and overlooked topics by most RVers, and that is your tires. So, Roger, what do you think about tire pressure monitoring systems? Worth their weight in gold or not necessarily?
Absolutely. Yep. TPMS, tire pressure monitoring systems, are definitely worth their weight in gold, if not more. Think about, would you be comfortable driving your car without a temperature gauge or an oil pressure gauge or any of the gauges on your instrument panel? Probably not. Well, TPMs and the technology basically became available and affordable in 2002 timeframe. And you put that on your tires, on your motorhome or on your RV, because you talk about people pulling a trailer, and a trailer picks up a nail, loses air. You don't know it. You've got a big 3/4 or 1 ton pickup that can pull that trailer. You don't feel it. And then the next thing that happens, there's some trucker waving you down because you blew a tire because you picked up a nail or the valve leaked or any number of other things that could have happened to the tire. TPM systems will flash a little warning. Some of them will even tell you the exact position, and sometimes it's possible that it gives you an early warning. You pick up a nail, air starts leaking out, and it gives you a warning as soon as you lose 3 to 5 psi. If you can pull off the side of the road quickly, you might even save the tire, never mind save a few $1,000s worth of damage to your RV.
Yeah, the body
Get a
damage can just be
TPM.
terrible from a blowout. Where is a good starting point, Roger? Right now, wherever somebody, if they got their travel trailer, it could be new, it could be old, a motorhome. Where does someone even start to assess where they are with their tires? Do they go to a discount tire and have a salesman tell them? What can the average person do to assess the condition of their tires?
Well, I'm a little biased, but one of the first things I'd do is I'd go to RVtravel.com. Chuck Woodbury there has a weekly newsletter, and every week he has a link and a short write-up on the latest post to my tire blog, and I have some 300 posts there just on tires, wheels, and valves. So go to RVtravel.com, look for the link to my tire information, and there, once you find it, you can read the weekly summary, and then there's an index, and you can look up TPM, you can look up load, you can look up weight, you can look up inflation, you can look up blowout. That's what I'd suggest. It's easy to do. Educate yourself.
All right. Some of the people posted on our Facebook this week, and Mac posted. He said that he talks about China bombs have a maximum speed rating of 65. That he has a tire rated at 119 miles an hour. And he says, really? That can't be true. I mean, I don't think.
Well, the tire might have that letter on it, but in the United States, I can tell you as a tire engineer that the, quote, speed rating is really a handling rating. The higher the number, the better the tire handles, but that doesn't mean you can travel at that speed for any length of time. The test is only a 30-minute test. Now, if you want to drive at that speed, fine. Put a watch on it. After 30 minutes, that tire is scrap. I mean, that's the reality of the test for that high speed. 65 is what the load formula is based on.
Is there a better brand of tire than another? Is there a best brand out there, Goodyear or Michelin or whoever? I don't know if you're paid to endorse anybody or not, but is there one brand that you can just feel confident that is the right brand of tire for an RV?
No. And one, I'm not paid to endorse anybody. And the thing is that you've got a couple of choices, and I suggest that what you're really buying when you make a tire purchase decision is you're buying a dealer network. If you buy your tires from Billy Joe Bob Cheap Tire and Bait Emporium, he has one store, and you'll never get service once you travel 10 miles away from his store. But you go to one of the majors, and they'll have 1,000 different outlets across the country, and you can plan on being able to get your tire inspected, air checked, or whatever from the company that you buy your tires from or that made your tires. So, yes, I would suggest first look at the majors. There's three big tire companies in the world. You got, Bridgestone, Goodyear, and Michelin. And depending upon the market, one is number one is number two, three. You go to a different market type tire, and the rank is different. But those three are, number 1, 2, and 3 always in the world.
All right, I've got Billy on Facebook. He wrote that he said tires the biggest sore spot with RVs. Get at least an E-rated tire when buying RV tires. That's
the load range, and the thing is, the load capacity is a function of the air pressure. If you come with a load range D, all right, that would be like a 6-ply tire. It's 65 psi. Just going to a load range E, if you also run 65 psi, is not going to get you any more capacity. You get the load capacity from the air pressure. The higher the rating of the tire means you can put more air in, which means you can carry more load or you have more margin. But don't forget, you got a wheel and a valve. A lot of tire valves only have a 65 psi max rating. People forget that. The wheels don't all have an 80 or 100 PSI rating. So it takes some research, and you've got to educate yourself because you're re-engineering your product when you want to change something major like a tire and wheel.
You know, I couldn't believe when I posted on Facebook how many people responded that have had tire issues, and I have to think that more than half of them are their operator error than they are the tire error. But what's the biggest takeaway, Roger Marble, that you hope that listeners will get out of our conversation today?
Number one, educate yourself. Just because you drove on a car or multiple cars for 20, 30, 40 years doesn't mean you understand what you have to for tires. And go to RVtravel.com, get your link to my blog, and then educate yourself. The information is there.
Awesome. You know what? When I first thought about the subject of tires, I thought it was going to be boring. Anything but. Got to let you go. We'll do it again, Roger Marble. Thanks so much.
Okay.
All right, folks, we'll be right back. This is the RV Show USA. Oh, barely hit that one. Yeah, that guy's extremely knowledgeable, and
yes, he is.
you know, I hate having to go to the breaks, but if we don't hit him, the radio computer will cut us off. So we've got to kind of go. You know what? I guess we could, Goose, talk to him in these commercial breaks, but
you could, but the radio audience wouldn't.
Oh, they wouldn't hear it?
Not the radio audience.
Oh, I know, but the Facebook audience would.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to talk about my friends at Cam Panda here in just a minute. Y'all make sure you hit the share button. Hello, David. David, Dave, Ricky, Jeff, Brian. Have y'all hit the share button? Say yes. Uh-huh. Candace. Yeah. He is the corner. He's rounded the corner on tire jokes, Candace. Sorry, couldn't help it. Well, you look like you're pouting in there. No, you're shaking your head.
It's all right. I kind of grew tired of this subject anyway.
Yeah. We're going to do it again. RVtravel.com. They are one of our, they're one of my resources, actually.
Well,
I love those guys. In fact, next week, guess who we're going to have on? Dr. Deanna. She is our
awesome.
She is the RV pet vet, an amazingly smart lady that helped us with our little Pollo. And if you got a pet question, you can fire away, and I promise I'll get it in front of Dr. Deanna. That'll be on next week's episode.
Well, this was a good year to talk about tires.
Only 15 more. Oh, we got a minute 15. So
I wonder if they're Michelin rated.
All right. So let me see what's going on. We've got. Okay.
So you're saying these tire jokes are getting a bit flat? Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm sorry, folks. All right, so we got 45 seconds, got a monologue, and it's about how to pay off your RV early. And I know that Jim out there in Las Vegas is going to go, ain't no way I'm doing that. No way. That's all right. Not everybody's going to do it. A few people are going to do it.
Dang, you got kind of inflated on that one.
Seconds.
Yep.
Y'all make sure you hit the share button. I won't say that anymore because we're coming back.
Last segment coming up.
Closing monologue.
The RV Show USA.
All right, back with today's final segment of the RV Show USA. And if you missed any of the show, want to get caught up, well, it's easy to do. Just download the podcast from iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. You should start, though, by adding your name to our email list at thervshowusa.com. All right. How many of our listeners have their RVs paid for? I'm talking about 100% paid off. How many of you? How many of you still have a loan on your RV and are looking at those payments and thinking, gee, we're going to be paying on this thing for a long time? I'll bet a lot of you do. The unvarnished truth, folks, is, and it may be a difficult pill to swallow, is this, that all RVs depreciate, all of them. They're not like real estate. If anybody tells you that they hold their value, well, they either don't know what they're talking about or they're trying to sell you. They're trying to sell you a bill of goods. So all RVs depreciate. And for almost every RVer, they go from the honeymoon phase, as I call it, of RV ownership, which is nice. I mean, who doesn't love a honeymoon? To the reality phase of RV ownership. A blowout here, a trip to the dealer there, some unexpected, unwanted bumps along the way, spills on things, and eventually that RV that was once your baby where people had to take their shoes off to come inside is now, well, you still love it, you still enjoy it, but the newness, that magic, that emotion from when you first got it, it has changed. It can happen when it's a year old, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, but most likely one day the magic will be gone. But the costs, the payments continue. Now, when you get to that point, you may want to consider putting your RV into something called a rental pool like Campanda. Now listen up. Campanda is helping thousands of RVers pay off their RVs early, sometimes many, many years early, by providing them with folks that want to rent their RV and pay a lot of money for it. They really will. Now, if you're at that point where you can get, you're past the honeymoon phase and you'd like to explore the concept of renting it out. I said explore, maybe not do it, but at least explore the concept of being able to pay off your RV years ahead of time. I hope you'll take a minute to look into Campanda and how they can help you do just that. Now, while Campanda, they are a show sponsor, I got to tell you, I investigated them for months before deciding to endorse them. As I often say, that this is not for every RVer, but again, to me, if you're looking at years of payments and wondering ways to pay that bugger off, pay it off faster, the best way I know of, the easiest way I know of, is with Campanda. They have made it so simple for you to check out. Just go to campanda.com/money. Got to put the money on the end of it. Campanda.com/money. There is no obligation, no cost, no downside. I promise. Once again, you can find out how quickly you can pay off your RV at campanda.com/money. I want to thank Bob Zagami and Roger Marble for being our show guests today, and everyone who submitted their questions and comments through our Facebook groups, and especially thanks to each one of you for listening. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Guy, and always remember that the way we RVers spell love, it's how? Well, it's Time. And we spend that time with those we care about, enjoying the RV lifestyle. So long, everybody.
The RV Show USA. Start living the RV dream today. Come on, America, let's hit the road. So many things to see, so many places to go. Freedom and fun go hand in hand when you're rolling in your RV across this great land. So buckle up now.
All right, that's going to do it for another week, folks. Thank you so much for being a part of our extended family. We are most grateful. Make sure that you hit the share button, if you would, please. Add your name to our email list at thervshowusa.com. Tell your friends about us. And join us next week right here at 8 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday for the RV Show USA. Bye-bye, everybody.